Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
First of all, I had a feeling we played an out game today. It's a little bit disappointing that, again, when you see today in the stadium, there were more supporters for Congo than for us. So I hope in the future that we will have more support. You see today also when you have this crowd behind you, what that can give. Congo believed more and more. They grew in the game. They were supported. And we had some moments very difficult. And then you need them. You need them. But again, they were not there or not enough. And that's a little bit disappointed. I hope in the future that we can have better crowd than the last two games.
And welcome to it. It's good to have the gang back in studio. Thank you so much for laying down such great energy. The touchdown, they do it again tomorrow between 3 and 6. The kickoff that you just heard is the bed for the conversations we're going to have. Welcome to it. It's Sports Night Amplified with Andile on the mighty Metro FM. Over the next hour till 7 o'clock, top of the hour, taking your calls at 16:45. We might actually take your calls a little bit earlier because today's conversation, actually we will. We're going to be taking calls a lot earlier because today's conversation is largely dependent on you because it's a question that only you can answer. You asked for this conversation and I'd love to hear from you. What you've just heard now is Hugo Bruce, the coach of Bafana Bafana, giving us the kickoff. And he says in that, and I said, because remember, I was in studio here. So I was not at the Bafana Bafana game. I wasn't there. I was here in studio watching it on SABC Sport and updating you. And I said here that it's so refreshing to see how many people had come out for the game. It's so refreshing to see that the stadium was actually very decent in the number of supporters that had come out. I congratulated South Africans and I asked that we do a little bit more of this. Whereas on the Saturday before, when we played Namibia, it was bare knuckles. It was down to nothing at the stadium. Hugo Bruce says, no, Andile. No. There were more supporters of DRC, DR Congo, more supporters than that of South Africa at Orlando Stadium, Soweto, Gauteng, South Africa. There were more supporters of the Democratic Republic of Congo than they were of South Africa in a South African national team match. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. In our own backyard, not at a stadium where as many maybe, we need to travel so far. No, in our own backyard, there were more supporters. The coach said it, not me. When we're speaking to journalists that were at the stadium, maybe they'll tell us different, but the coach says he looked around and he felt the DRC team almost coming back because he could hear their fans wanting it. We played an away match at home. So, like I said, you asked for this conversation. The last 3 days, you've been calling saying, Andile, we want this conversation, so let's have it. Why is it that you're not at the stadium when Bafana Bafana play? Because you were there when Morocco played. Yes, there was a huge contingent of Moroccans that were at that stadium, but you were there too. But why are we not overwhelmingly suppressing any other nation when they come play our national team? 086 000 2160 is the number to call us on. We are going to take calls earlier than we normally do. 060 552 7303. We'll be taking voice notes as well a little bit earlier than we normally do. I'll answer the biggest question being asked. And the question is, why does the game not rotate out of Joburg? The CFO of SAFA, Lydia Munyapao, has answered that question. And I'll answer it for you. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're joined by journalist Mahlatsi Mpahlele, who will let us know. But also, we've got former Bafana Bafana player Nsboniso Gaxa, who will talk to us about this matter.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It's 17 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. On a Wednesday, we focus a little bit more on football, especially since we're covering a lot more. You guys have given us the mandate to say, Andile, we love tennis and we give you tennis. We love rugby. We give you rugby, cricket, and all sorts. So on a Wednesday, the focus changes a little bit and we are focused on football. Some amazing qualifiers yesterday, but the most important thing there, Cameroon and Namibia, the last two to write their names in the qualifying teams for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, joining the likes of host Ivory Coast, South Africa, Zambia, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Cape Verde, Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania also qualified there as well as Mozambique. So SADC teams also doing pretty well there, because you've got your Mozambique in there, you've got your Namibia in there, your South Africa in there. So it's great to see that there too. But the conversation we're having is one that's a little bit different. I want to know from you, and like I said, we're going to take your calls a lot earlier. Why is it that you don't support Bafana at the stadium? Why aren't you there? And I need to put this in there. Manchester United fans. Harry Maguire, man. Harry Maguire. But let's leave that a story for another day. Let's go to our two guests for today. Mahlatsi Mphahlele joins us on the line now. Mahlatsi Mphahlele, of course, is founder of Prime Sports with Mahlatsi. Mahlatsi, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Good evening to you, to listeners. Thank you very much for having me. And also to Pakaka. Good evening, my brother. I come along with that guy, by the way.
With Sponiso Pakaka is also on the line. Sponiso, welcome.
No, thanks, Andile.
Lo muntu lo nangu Mahlatsi claim etusuka kude now.
He knows our days at what is we call Socio-political.
Hey.
The young man not UT.
Guys, listen, we're laughing now, right? But it wasn't a laughing matter, especially for two people like yourselves who are so patriotic and about this country. We were together at the breakfast hosted by one of the Bafana Bafana sponsors just the other day, when we hosted Percy Tau, we hosted Pakaka himself, as well as the captain Ronan Williams. Mahlatsi, you were there as well, with the contingent of the media that were there. And we spoke about this matter, but it seems such a big thing. And before I go to Sponiso, because Sponiso can paint a better picture as a former player who knows the full stadiums. Talk to me, Mahlatsi, about this. I don't know what to call it. It's almost a betrayal of country, isn't it?
Yeah, it is an embarrassment. It must be a first. I don't think there's ever been a country hosting, whether it's French or whatever kind of football match, national team like that, having predominantly foreign or visiting fans more than the local fans. It's not good. It paints a very, very bad picture. Those guys made a lot of noise. The coach was right to say there was a stage in that game in the second half where the fans made a lot of noise, and you could see they spent on the players on to try and chase for the equalizer. And unfortunately, it didn't come. You can imagine if that support was going for Bafana, probably they could have scored more goals. So it's something which.
But hold on, you were at the stadium, Mahlatsi,
yeah.
Is what Hugo Bruce is saying true? You were there, you got to see the fans. Were there more fans of the DRC for real?
It looked like it. The guys who were on the other side of the stand, on the far side, the flags that were there were predominantly the Diafungo flags. Obviously, we don't have benefit of having counted the people, but from a distance, it looked more like there were more Congo fans than South African. Because obviously, South African fans mostly were.
Yo, that's so embarrassing, guys. I'm at low.
It's not good enough. If you go back to Saturday, the South African fans were in there. Obviously, they were in the majority against Namibia. But even in that match, we didn't have enough South Africans who would say people are coming to watch a match. And also the other thing that is very interesting about this Bafana side, these guys have got 9 games without losing. And also you ask yourself, in those 9 games, how were they playing? Were they playing the type of football that will get somebody to spend their money and to go watch the stadium? So those are the discussions which we need to have as to how do we plot the way forward? How do we solve this problem? There's clear sign here of just general public apathy of Bafana Bafana at the moment. The players know that Ronan Williams was sort of open about it the other day when he was speaking at the breakfast. To say they need to do more. And these are the challenges that the team is facing now. We all know that Bafana Bafana are not where they are supposed to be. the type of football they're playing at the moment is not the type of football which is very, very easy on the eye. Bafana Bafana does not have the character that we have there. Bakas, like you said, can speak more from a player's perspective. But, also coming back to yesterday, maybe the timing of the match, 5 o'clock on a Tuesday.
But that's not an excuse, man, because I can take you back to Saturday. It was a Saturday. It was during the day, so perhaps, the timing not an issue here, especially when you had so many people at the stadium there to support the DRC. Let me go to Socio-political. So why does this even matter? Why does it even matter who's filling the stadiums? You're a former player. You've played for the national team at the highest level. Talk to me about the differences from your point of view and your thoughts on this whole matter.
Andile, listen, this is a complex issue. We cannot also isolate the event or whatever happened on Saturday from the friends.
Okay, I'm gonna give Sponiso back to Timmy T Miranda there because his line isn't great. But like I said, it's gonna be a little bit different today. We're gonna be taking your calls and your WhatsApps a little bit early because we can speak. Mahlati, myself, we can speak, but only you can tell us why you weren't there. Only you can tell us. I mean, when I asked the question, the tweet went viral, and I was surprised at the amount of anger that South Africans had. And we want to answer your question. And before you call, here are the facts. These are the facts, Mahlati. Bafana Bafana have been winning games. They have not lost a game in 9 matches. So you can't say they're not winning. Yes, they've had draws. They drew your Namibia. They drew Namibia again, actually, a little bit earlier. They drew, I think, Liberia and Angola as well. But they beat Liberia. They beat Botswana. They beat Swatini. They beat Morocco. So they're not losing matches. So you can't tell me that they're losing matches. It's not that. Let's put that aside. Yes, are they winning with margins that you think they should be winning? Should they be beating a Swaziland? Should they be beating a Botswana? Should they be beating all the SADC teams? For sure. But just not good enough. Let's go to Socio-political now. He's back on the line. So you're saying such an important point.
Do I sound better now?
You sound much better. I want to hear that point of yours.
Okay, I was saying to you, it's a complex issue, and it is difficult to isolate the event that happened with regards to the past 2 games that we had. I think we could foresee something like this happening, but we've always ignored such things when they are starting to show, So, listen, man, I strongly believe that we as South Africans, we have lost our political consciousness. Things are related, We have lost our political consciousness, and we have lost the thing that defines or explains who we are as a nation. That's number one. And unfortunately, Bafana Bafana is also struggling. It's part of the element. It's also struggling to find its own kind of common understanding and goals. And the fans also, they lack when it comes to supporting Bafana Bafana. I mean, Mahlati has just explained it well that it's not about playing because Bafana Bafana is still winning, They've just qualified for AFCON. So we cannot, the excuse can't be, they are not winning as before. So now what is the issue? Why are people not coming to the stadium? It's a political consciousness.
So you think it's a socio-economic thing where people have other things to do. People are still fighting to have bread on the table rather than to go support football. Is that what you're saying?
Not that.
Okay.
Not that.
Please highlight it for me.
It's a political consciousness. What defines us in the political realm? We have neglected the most important things in this country and then expect to get. I don't think we have enough time for me to extend more on these things. But all I'm saying is that there is that lack of political consciousness to South Africans as citizens, because you've highlighted right now that it's so embarrassing that another country comes to South Africa and dominates in South Africa in terms of their fans, at the stadium.
There's one thing about that, and I don't disagree with you, Pa, right? But then I ask myself this to say, is that political consciousness not there when Chiefs and Pirates are playing? When Chiefs and Sundowns are playing, when Stellenbosch and Pirates or Stellenbosch and Chiefs are playing, those have been the highest rated games in terms of attendance this year. And the derby always, I put it in there because it's always. But you look at the Chiefs game. You look at the Stellenbosch games, Chiefs, Sundowns, Chiefs and Pirates versus Stellenbosch. Those have all been highly rated games. They've seen over 30,000 people pile in to watch those two teams. Where's the political consciousness there?
So you are saying to me, when Chiefs is playing Sekhukhune at FNB, are we going to get the same crowd as Pirates and Chiefs?
But it may not be. But these are stadiums that are getting filled by people that love soccer, and all of those people have one thing in common, or most of them. They support Bafana Bafana.
Correctly so. So Bafana Bafana is a bigger institution. If you compare to club level.
Yes,
it's a governing. It governs our football publicly in the social space. So my argument is this: until we are politically in line with what defines us, what our common understanding, also football falls under those things. Do not isolate these issues. Only then we will have, because honestly speaking, I come across people who doesn't even know if Bafana Bafana is playing. They just heard that Bafana was playing. And then I asked myself, have we lost our identity as people in South Africa? Because if we compare ourselves with other countries based on supporting the national team, we should then ask the question, are we no longer sharing the same goal when it comes to our social dynamics, Because honestly speaking, I looked at this thing and I said, we cannot isolate this issue. There are things that we should also look at, Not only, because it's not the result, it's not the coach. Maybe you said it yourself. You said maybe we should move Bafana games into other provinces. Maybe we could get more crowds there.
Okay.
Maybe people in Johannesburg, they are no longer have appetite when it comes to Bafana and watching them at the stadium.
Matlati? I'm not sure if you were part of the conversation with the CEO, of SAFA, when she spoke about why the game does not go to other provinces, or why these games in particular did not go to other provinces. Are you privy to that?
No, I was not part of that. No.
Okay, then perhaps I should be the one to read out what had happened. So she explained it. And there's no sound for it, unfortunately, because it wasn't recorded. But she says, and this is from Lydia Munyepao. You can go on to Unplayable ZA to check it out at Unplayable ZA. The SAFA CEO speaking to one of our counterparts here. And she says, I can assure you that we had approached a number of cities for this game. But Cape Town told us that the stadium was undergoing renovations. Durban said they had other commitments. The other provinces didn't come back to us, even though they always say they want to host.
Yeah.
So the other stadiums were offered this. Polokwane was offered. The Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, all of them were offered. They didn't come back. The only two that came back were Cape Town, which is the Western Cape, and KZN, who said, nope, stadium is going under renovations, and Durban said, no, we have other commitments at the time. So it was difficult to take it out of Johannesburg for these particular games, and we don't know how many other games too.
Yes,
Andile, can I come in?
Other people don't want to host Bafana Bafana. I think.
Can I come in, Andile?
Go for it, Pa.
Again, I'm gonna emphasize again. It's a political consciousness. Why would you reject your national team to come and play in your city? It's absolutely. I understand when the stadium is being under some renovation, but when the stadium is free, there's nothing happening. There's no event, and then you deny a national team to come and play in your city. It falls down to a political consciousness. We have no clue. Maybe I'm not explaining it the way I'd
love to, because I can tell you now, everybody's thinking, wow, what are you talking about political consciousness? Are you saying that the patriotism of South Africans is not with their flag?
Thank you. I thank you so much. You've just
All right.
explained
Okay. No, I hear you.
Thank
Matlati,
you.
you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying, I understand where Pai is coming from. There is also that element that there is just a lack of patriotism when it comes to our national team. But again, sometimes most of these things build up over a period of time. I understand that the team cannot win all the time. But if a team constantly goes through decline over a number of time, people start rejecting that team because it sort of becomes not fit for purpose in a way. So that is what has happened to Bafana Bafana. I mean, I would love to see Bafana Bafana being supported the way the Springboks are being supported now.
It's incredible. It's incredible, the support for Bafana, rather for the Springboks now at the moment. And I want to see, the Africa Cup of Nations is coming, and I can tell you now, it is nowhere near going to be equitable with the things that we're seeing.
But I can tell you now, in Bafana Bafana, we're constantly beating teams like Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt, Nigeria, Cameroon, constantly competing at that level.
Yeah, and you can't take that away from the Springboks. The Springboks have earned it.
Yeah, we will not be having this discussion because people will get better about this thing.
Okay,
when me and you were growing up, we were always excited about Bafana Bafana because they were competing with the big boys on the continent. And sometimes they were punching their way above their weight around the world. So, as far as saying, it's a combination of too many things. There's apathy. People are just not interested in this thing anymore. And it is up to the current players now to sort of win back the trust of the people by going out there, going to AFCON, trying to doing well there, getting to a semi-final, going to a tournament and trying to win it, not just to go there and make up the numbers.
Let me ask you this when you speak about players, and let me start with Pa here, because I've got so many people saying to me, Andile, we don't have the stars we used to have. We don't have a Benny McCarthy. We don't have a Dr. Khumalo, a Shoes Michel, the big stars. Philmon Masinga, people who individually are big stars. Who are the Bafana Bafana players now? Who are the big stars? What do you make of that argument, Pa?
Listen, Andile, it's true. If you have to compare, it's true. I mean, we had the likes of, you mentioned, the number of them, the previous generation. He did absolutely an incredible job, And currently, yes, we lack that. But we should ask, the question should then be, what is the cause? What's the cause? Why can't we have them? And I always tell people the same answer. As long as you take away public school football, you are killing South African football in general. You've literally declined sports in public schools. And you expect to have a Dr. Kuman, who was produced from the same public schools. Your John Shoes, the late, who was produced from the public schools. All the players you've mentioned, they come from public. They competed at that level before they were professional players. They used to compete there. But we don't have that because, again, we have lost our political consciousness. We have no clue who we are. You cannot, if you go and interview Dr. Kuman and ask him where did he compete, where did he start competing, he will tell you when he was playing for a school in Soweto, when they were playing against the Bokomole school, there were big crowds. Today, I watch Super Sports on Saturday. I watch rugby school.
And it's huge, packed.
Because the development starts there. But when you lost your political consciousness, you will lose the public space. When you lose the public space, you lose talent. Again, political consciousness.
Matlati, what if I throw it at you to say you've got a Lyle Foster who's a trailblazer in the EPL? Is he not a star? You've got Themba Zwane, the most consistent player in South Africa, who gets compared to the greats of this game. You've got Zakele Lepasa, who's lighting up the PSL. You've got Percy Tau, who's one of the most achieved South African players of all time. When you look at the Champions League medals he's won, no one else South African has done what he's been able to do. Are these not big stars? Are these not the stars of the game? Are these people not enough for you to go to the stadium?
Well, I mean, The MTC.
Yes, they didn't play at Daliwonga like with Dr. Pat, surely.
Yeah, the MTC, the stadiums are giving us that answer. I think people are not generally not happy. And obviously, when you go into the territory of trying to compare eras and all that kind of stuff, it's always very, very tricky to do that. I mean, I will be the one to admit that I think Tambazwane, even though he's a little bit older, he's pretty much the sort of the biggest player in the country right now. You speak about Lebo Mutiba is doing well since he came back from injury in France. I don't think he's among the best players in France at the moment, but for us he is. I don't think Lyle Foster is among the best players in England, but for us he is. Players like Ronan Williams is probably the best goalkeeper in the country now. But he's playing in South Africa. So this is the best that we have. But unfortunately, when you compare these players and the best of the best on the continent, mostly they just don't compare, because some of the best players on the continent, in Australia, stuff in top leagues in Europe, who unique out. There are some are actually counted among the best in the world. So we need to, over a period of time, aspire to get to that level where we can constantly perform against the best players on the continent. Currently we don't. This is what we have. And unfortunately the coach has got to work with this players that he has now. We still have a long way to go. And maybe just to add something, it's quite incidental because yesterday I was at a function, I was talking to Brian Baloi, Petoma Shishi, Lefatu Lupa, and Ntatla Kubeka. We're actually talking about this thing as to how do we fix our football, how do we take our football forward. And the general consensus among the guys was that, obviously, we sound like a sack record, but if you want young people, you go to the schools. And also there's a worrying factor in our football that most clubs have sort of left scouting to agents. And in that sense, you are not going to find the best of the best, because agents can just get whatever they want to get and try and make a quick back and sell the players. We need to go out there and find the players. The players are definitely there. You just need to find them. The reason why cricket is so strong is simply because of the structured and the organized school sport system that is there on the previously advantaged or still advantaged schools. Unfortunately, for us, the largely black population, we don't have facilities. Kids don't have coaching in the townships, in the villages. So we lag behind. If we can get that one right, of making sure that in the townships, in the villages, the kids at primary school level are coached right, we can, in a long run, be able to produce a player who can go to England and play for Manchester United.
I don't disagree with you, Mahlatsi. I don't disagree with you, Pa. And I do think fundamentally we have issues with our football at development level. I just don't think that's the reason why I'm not seeing bums on the seat. Surely. But it's not me who must say this. Let's take a break. When we come back, I promised to take calls and voice notes earlier. We're doing it.
Call us on 0860 00 2160.
It's exactly 1843 on the Mighty Metro FM. We're having a conversation about why you. I don't want you to tell me about no Batuba, no. Tell me about you. Why were you not, or why haven't you been going to support Bafana Bafana? I see somebody saying, hey, Andile, can we also talk about the fact that it wasn't broadcast? It was broadcast. The SABC, where is it? Almond Mutlala. The SABC did broadcast the game. I gave you all the details. SABC has now many platforms, not just the terrestrial television, SABC 123. We've got SABC Plus. We've got SABCsport.com, where we put some of our content as well. So we did put the game up. I watched it here, and many more did too.
Grateful for the fans that came out today. Hopefully we can have more. It was a home game for us, and the away team dominated, and that's not nice for us players, but hopefully with these performances we can keep on convincing people to come and support us, because I think that we're doing well.
Right, let's go straight to you. We're going to play your voice notes before we go to your calls. Play some of those voice notes.
Call us on 0860 00 2160.
Hey, Andile, it's Japa Jablan here that I'm one of the models. One day I want to be like you, being a sport presenter. I love sport.
Hey man, do it.
Being not there is because I'm saying far away, yeah, I think tone and there is no courage, but I love football. According to me, for my side, it's because of madness. I love football. I can't be there when it was easy for me to travel. But according to my knowledge and understanding of football, because they take the RC of Congo, that nation, like it's nothing. They need to, like we said, this game of Morocco, they were there. Like they need those famous team.
So it's the quality of opposition. Okay, we'll get into that. I've got Bai here. I've got Matlati. We'll talk about the quality of opposition. Next one.
Hey, Andile and the guest. People are making this like it's a Bafana issue. It's not a Bafana issue. It's a Safa issue. Safa will promote a game. Do you remember Banyana make it to win AFCON? They hosted Brazil. The 3 games, they were empty seats. Then they hosted another games. I think they played Fenglis again. They were empty seats. So it's a Safa problem, not a Bafana problem.
Okay.
Evening, Ma. It's a good thing that Bros is winning. Well, for me personally, I would play Cassius Malula over Lebo Motibo. Lebo's been playing, but he's not that quick, especially when you're being pressed. Especially when you're being pressed, as I said. I would also bring in Mofokeng, youngsters. I know, like coaches like saying national team is not for building, But I'll bring those two over Lebo. Well, in terms of fans, I think it's marketing. That is where we get it wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
In Eden Vale.
Good evening, Andile. I think Hugo Bros is the problem. Hugo Bros, when he talks of Kaizer Chiefs, you can't expect the stadium to be full at the same time when you insert a team like Kaizer Chiefs with a lot of fans that fill the stadium. That man must change how he talks about the teams in South Africa, in our football. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Andile. How's it, Dasu, and the rest of the team there? The problem is not about filling up the stadiums or anything. It's about the team choice. We're not supporting the team. We're not supporting South Africa. We're supporting... How can I put it?
Put it, please.
Let's just say South Africa plays with Brazil, or it plays with Spain or Argentina. Like the stadium will be full, man. Will be like hotla, like it's from Talwat.
So once again, quality of opposition.
These African countries are hotla so.
But you can't play Brazil and France and England and Spain every day, guys. It's impossible. It's impossible. You got to play African opposition because that's who you're playing at AFCON. Come on.
So Andile, taba ya Bafana Bafana. Tla re yang straight one. Most of the supporters of football in South Africa, ke ma Chiefs, and then Hugo Bros are the Chiefs, and ma Chiefs ba kwatile. Re tla re mara.
We laugh about that Chiefs thing. Matlati, I don't know what your and Spa, I don't know what your thoughts are. There seems to be a boycott from Chiefs fans because you saw it on social media. You're hearing it now saying, no, he said Chiefs is not a good enough team right now. So therefore, we don't want to go to stadium as Chiefs fans, Matlati.
Yeah, that statement by the coach ruffled feathers a bit. He came back to sort of apologize to explain what he said. He did say that he didn't believe that the Chiefs player doesn't have the skills and the talent to compete. He was more talking about where Chiefs were in the log at that time and the performances that they had dished out at that time. Obviously, Chiefs fans didn't take kindly to that. I really don't think that is the reason why the stadium was pretty much empty, or there were too many DR Congo fans inside the stadium. Like you're saying, I think there are just too many issues that are here, which have contributed to the final result now.
Yeah, it doesn't take the embarrassment away. It was absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah, it touched on the quality of the sort of the names of the opposition that was played over the last while. Over the last while, we've only played the only team that is in the top 10 of the championship is Morocco. The rest are teams that are down there. Angola, we're talking about Botswana, Mozambique, Liberia. So those teams, also are not of the same quality. But at the same time, if you are going to support the national team, you need to support the national team because it is a national team, not because who they are playing against. Because
Portugal was playing Luxembourg, who they beat. They beat them by over 5 goals every time they play them. It was full at the stadium.
We can beat Namibia. And what is even more interesting, in the next 4 matches that I scheduled for Bafana Bafana, if people are going to say they want to come to the stadium because of who are players, we are still going to have a problem.
Because we've got Eswatini, Ivory Coast,
away, and then we've got Benin and Rwanda. And this Benin and Rwanda is critical because it's World Cup qualified.
Wow.
So we really need to go there and support the team because of it's Bafana Bafana, not because of who they're playing.
All right, Tepo Masela, I see you. David, Olebocheng and Tulani, I'm coming to you next.
The wait is over. The deals are here. It's ShopRite's Big Red Weekend. For 3 days only, save up to 50% on deals like a 400-gram pack of Parmalat cheese slices for only 45 Rand. 1 litre Ultramel custard for a low 20 Rand. 500ml Stay Soft refill for just 24 Rand. Save 50%. 2 Huggies Dry Comfort Value Pack nappies or pants for 220 Rand. And an Essentials Steam Iron for a steaming 119 Rand. It's Big Red Weekend, valid 15 to 17 September, only at ShopRite.
Are you in grade 9? Do you want to make the best choices for your future? Align the correct subject choices to your dream career. At the University of the Free State, we guide you toward career success. Join us for an in-person subject choice guidance evening at the Blue Waters Hotel in Durban on 15 September at 6 p.m. to prepare you for the future world of work. Parents, learners and teachers RSVP before 14 September at info@ufs.ac.za.
Calling all content creators to share your vibe. Introducing the Honor 90 5G smartphone that'll take your creativity to new heights. With 200 megapixels of ultra camera magic, say goodbye to blurry shots and hello to the 50 megapixel front cam for those flawless selfies. Honor 90 packs a long-lasting battery that can outlast stage 10 load shedding. No more storage limitations with 512 gigs of space. Join the evolution. Enter your vibe era with the Honor 90 today.
Call us on 0860 00 2160.
It's exactly 1852. I've been kind enough to be joined by former Bafana Bafana sporting support Kakla, a man that's doing amazing things. One of these days, he actually needs to come in here and talk about his current life. Mahlatsi Mpahlele is also on the line speaking to us. He is, of course, the founder of Prime Sports with Mahlatsi. Let's go to Tepo Masila, not Masilela. Tepo Masila. He's out in Polokwane. Tepo.
Braba.
Hey, talk to me, man.
Cricket and Andile, let's be honest about Bafana Bafana. The institution has been destroyed and it is no longer appetizing, it has lost value. The same Lepasa and Munapule Saleng that will force me to pay my 60 rand and go watch them with Orlando Pirates colors. I wouldn't be interested to go watch them with Bafana Bafana colors, because now they have got into something that has lost value. And give a very good example about rugby, Andy. I'm going to compare Bafana Bafana and rugby, and I'm going to simplify them. They are all under government. But Bafana Bafana is like a school government that is in rural areas. Rugby is like a school government that is in Captain Park or Melville, that is being protected by white people. In Bafana Bafana, politics outweighs soccer and the love of sport. But in rugby, I think the love of soccer outweighs politics. I think that's what destroys Bafana Bafana, and we need to rebuild that by bringing people who love soccer more than politics in the institution, so that the brand can be appetizing again and the brand can be loved by South African again. I think that is the easiest explanation of why we don't watch Bafana Bafana, and we will never watch it, because there is nothing appetizing about Bafana Bafana. It doesn't matter who they play. But if they play Brazil, we'll go to stadium to watch Brazil, not Bafana Bafana.
Are you proud of saying that, Sepo? You just said if Bafana Bafana play Brazil, you, a South African, born and bred, you are in Polokwane right now, Warra. You're proud of telling me on this national radio platform that you will go watch Brazil.
If that was not the case, then Andile was going to go and watch Bafana Bafana in Malawi. What will be the difference between Bafana Bafana in Malawi and Bafana Bafana in Brazil? It will be the same players that played Malawi. If I can't watch them against Malawi, why will I go watch them against Brazil? It simply means that I'm going to watch Brazil, not them.
Wow. Tsepo, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you so much. Let's go to David. David is out in Kempton Park. David.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call. I want to dissect this Bafana Bafana into a triangle, whereby at the top, let's have Safa. On the right, let's have the player and the technical team. And then on the left, let's have fans. The factors that are affecting the attendance. One, I want to totally disagree with those people who say there was quality before and no quality. Remember in 1995 when South Africa was admitted by FIFA, all those players, 90% or I can say 99% were playing in the local before they could even market themselves externally. So this thing of saying who was playing where and how, it doesn't count. And let's come to the support. On the supporter side, we are pressurizing the coach to put the players that we need. But the coach should implement a plan and come with players who fit into his plan. That is one thing we must understand. And come to Safa. I want to say the fish rot at the head, then the rest follows. There is nothing Safa is doing. Previously, PROs of teams, people like Sprinter, Shakwane, and Alex were faces of Bafana Bafana. Where are the number one fans of clubs that are in the PSL? Because why? Safa is trying to always outshine PSL. Are they not supposed to combine effort, or are they supposed to compete?
David, I hear you.
I would like to agree with Pa when he says politics. You know, there is soccer politics, there is bedroom politics, there is politics everywhere.
I hear you. I've got to go, David. It's taking, sorry, thank you very much. I think we got your point across. I need to take others. Let's go to Ulebucheng. Ulebucheng is out in Rustenburg. Ulebucheng.
Andile, good evening to your listeners and to your panel in the studio. Andile, the caller who called in from Polokwane has taken a lot of words from my mouth. But in all essence, that's what it all comes to. Our choice of watching Bafana Bafana now, it is against patriotism. We would rather go and watch teams or countries that perform better than Bafana Bafana, because us going to the stadium, I'm going to watch players.
So you only want to support Bafana Bafana when they're winning. You don't want to bring them up when they're down. You don't want to support them when they need you most. You just want to come there when it's all nice and they're winning. Not
necessarily. What we're trying to say is SAFA is the one that's putting us as fans away from stadiums. The way in which they're running this association is what is taking the love away from us.
What are they doing, Ulebukeng? What are they doing?
Sorry?
What are they doing?
They're not promoting this game. I mean, the value of this brand is no longer the same as before. The caller from Polokwane is correct to say that the value has dropped to a point of us having to choose our own country over the others.
So but when they're playing Brazil, you know they're playing Brazil. How do you get to the stadium? It's the same SAFA.
We go in there to watch Brazil.
But what I'm saying is, it's the same SAFA that communicates the same to say Brazil is here. They communicate the same to say DRC is here. They communicate the same to say Namibia is here. But you see the Brazil one, you don't see the Namibia one, the marketing.
The Namibia one, we can't see the Namibia one because we know even Namibia is not the kind of opponent that we should be vying for, especially when we are trying to prepare for a showpiece that we have not been qualifying for the longest of time. That also has to do with SAFA. They're securing us friendlies or games that are not going to prepare us to compete at that stage.
Well, I appreciate you. Very quickly, Tulani is out in East. Oh, he's gone. Matlatsi, you're the last one on this.
Yeah, I think Ratsebo from Polokwane pretty much summed it up very nicely. At the end of the day, all is entertainment, and people choose how they want to be entertained. If you are not entertaining correctly, move to something else. You know, Bafana must realize that. Of course, we still have to be patriotic. It's our national team, it's our country. But what do you do if you have got a national team that does not, entirely satisfy you? That does not entirely, it's not, it's not fit for purpose. If I'm used that way.
Thank you so much.
We will have to continue supporting them, but also is from their end, they must understand the apathy that's coming from the normal fan on the street.
I'm pretty sure you have two words to say: political.
Consciousness.
There we go.
I mean, Andile, like I said, it's a complex, really complex situation. However, I think the first caller from Polokwane, he actually expanded on this political consciousness